Like once I got deep into the bender, it was sad. It was very sad and depressing. I would just be there, and then I would pass out, and then I'd wake up, take some more vodka, and pass out again. And
wow.
And then if I ran out, and I would always run out at like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I would wait till 10 a.m. that I could go to the liquor store and buy another bottle. And those would be like the longest, 2-3 hours of my life, waiting. And when I would walk to the liquor store, and this is just how strong addiction can get you, sometimes I would be crying. I mean, crying my eyes out because
I can imagine.
Mentally, I didn't want to go.
No.
But my body had to bring me there, and I had to get that bottle of vodka. There's this DJ on Hot 97, Funkmaster Flex. Funkmaster Flex. I love listening to his show, and he was cutting up some stuff, and he dropped Biz Markie's "Just a Friend." Yeah. Oh baby, you got what I need. You say he's just a friend.
That's it.
You say, and then I was just like, oh, Ecstasy, you got what I need. And then so this is where the original idea comes from. And I'm like, okay, I want to do something with this. Some of the people in charge were kind of like, well, you got to stop DJing. You got to stop doing this. I'm like, well, are you fucking crazy? This is my, forget about the drugs and the alcohol. It's like, I understood where it was coming from a good place, but I was like, music is my life. I go, I'm not changing that. Plus, like, I also thought it was a bit ridiculous because, so am I supposed to not walk down a street that has a liquor store? Should I not go to a restaurant that serves liquor anymore? Like, so I was a bit turned off by that. But at the same time, when people ask me about, whether it's therapy or the 12 steps or anything, I say, and this is one of my, he was Dr. Spinazzola. He was my doctor who I did go to try to help with the substance abuse, but he was also one of my professors in college, which also taught a drug abuse class. That's how I got linked up with him. Yeah. He always said, I'm for whatever works. For whatever's going to save your life, if that works for you, you do that.
Ja, lieve mensen, zijn we weer vanuit studio in Scheveningen, Den Haag, met een bijzondere aflevering. Ten eerste omdat de hele stad plat ligt hier zo vanwege de NAVO-top. Het is vrij lastig om de stad door te komen. En vooral vandaag omdat ik iemand van het station af moest halen die speciaal, nou niet echt speciaal uit Amerika is gekomen, maar in ieder geval, hij moest hier een paar keer draaien in Europa. En voordat hij kwam had ik al gevraagd of hij zin had om een podcast op te nemen. En dat had hij. En we kennen elkaar al sinds 1993. En speciale relatie ook met elkaar. En vooral ook nu die alweer een jaartje of... how many years are you sober?
13.
13 years.
Ja, 13.
Ja, 13.
Look at me, bro.
Ja. Dus de connectie is nu een stuk, iets anders in ieder geval. En ik verheug me onwijs op dit gesprek. Voordat we beginnen, mocht je nog niet geabonneerd zijn op ons kanaal, doe dat dan eventjes. Druk op het belletje en dan blijf je op de hoogte van al die mooie gesprekken die we hebben. Vooral dit soort gesprekken vind ik gewoon heel bijzonder. Omdat je met iemand te maken hebt die gewoon een heel bijzonder en bewogen leven heeft. En daardoor ook een onwijs mooi verhaal. Want daar gaat het bij ons in de podcast om. Mensen die een bijzondere transformatie zijn ondergaan. Hun passie leven. Of misschien allebei. Dan gaan we naar onze gast. We gaan door in het Engels. Dus dan weet je, in ieder geval kan je op voorbereiden. What's your name?
Rob G.
Rob G, but that's not your real name.
You're right. It's Robert Gilmore.
Robert Gilmore.
Yes.
How old are you?
I just turned 54.
You turned 54, so you are a Gemini.
I am a Gemini.
And you are. I know that you were born in 1971.
1971.
That makes you a pig in the Chinese astrology.
Fantastic.
And you have in your element is metal.
Metal.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal. I'm a Gemini pig with some heavy metal, bro. Yeah.
You are into that or not?
Sorry?
You are into that in like
metal?
Chinese... I know that you are into heavy metal.
I don't know.
This man, AC/DC.
I mean, come on, man. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest with you.
No.
I have friends, that will bring this stuff up from time to time, but I really couldn't tell you anything specific about it, So, but if it's good, it's good. Or if it means something, great.
You know Gemini? Gemini is a really good sign.
That I'm a bit into. Like, I'm very proud to tell people I'm a Gemini, because one thing I usually say to people is both my guys are very cool. There's not a good and a bad. They're both very, very good guys, you know?
Yeah. But you feel it like this also, that you have like really two personalities inside yourself? Because you can be like fucking crazy, but you can also be like very serious.
Yeah, to that point, 100%. I definitely have my serious side, and of course my crazy side. You know. And it also comes naturally. It's not like some sort of act or something like this. Like when I'm going like this is also Robert Gilmore or Rob G, but this is also Robert Gilmore and Rob G. You know.
I'm very happy that you're here, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, really great.
Man, we've been friends for a long time. You know?
Yeah, really long time. 1993. We come to that afterwards, but 1993.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, wait.
Crazy.
Hey, and you just came from gigs all around Europe?
Yeah, I just played in Krakow, Poland this past Saturday. This event called Terra Heaven. It was it was so good. The vibe in the Polish crowd is phenomenal, and it's good too, because like, their scene is not as large as, say, like the Netherlands or something, which is very hard to compete with. So, when an artist comes there, it's very special for them.
Yeah, but because you're really an artist there.
Yeah.
You are here, but also there.
Yeah. And you can see the passion, in the people's faces and just their energy. So, I love it.
Great. Where do you live now at this moment?
I live in Jersey City, which is like right across the water from New York City.
Okay.
So, like, if I was to go up to my roof, I could look at the Empire State Building, the Freedom Tower, the whole New York skyline. Wow. It's maybe a 10-minute drive to get there. And to get there, I have to drive through the Holland Tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which we actually drove through going both ways. And, and I'm 10 minutes away from my airport that I need to fly to. Mom lives 10 minutes away in the town called Harrison, where I'm originally from. So it's like everything is like 10 minuten, 10 minutes away, Yeah. And I love where I live.
Nederlands is goed van hem.
Heel goed.
But for people who have never been to New York City, I mean, New York is not only Manhattan.
No.
Can you tell us something more about
I mean, so when you hear New York City, people immediately think of just Manhattan, because that is the city, and we refer to it as the city.
Yeah.
But New York City, by definition, is Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, and they're all like a bit different. Like Brooklyn. You have all these different neighborhoods, although in more recent times, a lot of it has been gentrified. So it's not, I guess, because it used to be like you had the Italians in one section, the Russians there, and the Irish there, and whatever. There's some neighborhoods that are still like that. Queens was also, depending on what part of Queens you were in. But a lot of it has been gentrified with, just a mixture of all different people who not necessarily are from, Brooklyn or Queens. Staten Island is pretty much still like a neighborhood kind of place. And the Bronx, depending where you're at, it could be good or bad, but you have that all over. I mean, you have it in Amsterdam, you have it in Paris. I mean, there's good neighborhoods and bad neighborhoods.
Yeah, just now when you're mentioning the Bronx, do you know records from Man Parrish? From
remember that name.
Early days, like in the 80s, you have the Boogie Down the Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx, Boogie 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 Down.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
but I mean, the Bronx, I mean, was pretty much like where hip hop started,
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, that's what they say. I mean, I think Cool Herc takes credit. I want to say in 1973, for throwing the first hip hop, party, and the idea of getting 2 turntables together, and of course, throughout the, by the late 70s, you had Curtis Blow with the breaks, of course, Africa and Bottom, the Soul Sonic Force.
Wow.
And the reason I'm even bringing all this up is because that was my first love as a DJ. When I got my first set of equipment in 1984, 85, I was a hip hop DJ.
Yeah.
Not an old school hip hop DJ, because there wasn't old school yet. it was just hip hop. Yeah. So a lot of great things came out of the Bronx, and of course I was involved with all the assets of hip hop. I was breakdancing, so I was spinning on my head and doing little windmills and all this stuff. What's up, bro?
yeah.
And,
electric boogie.
I was even doing graffiti writing at the time, and of course DJing MCing. So I was a part of all 4 aspects of hip hop.
Okay. Can you tell something about Mr. and Mrs. Gilmore?
So yeah, my mother,
Yep.
she's still with us.
Yep.
Regina
How old is she
Gilmore.
now?
She just-
Regina?
Yeah, Regina Gilmore.
Yep.
She just turned 77,
Mm.
and she's doing quite well. As I'm going to knock on some wood. Gotta do that.
Knock on wood.
You better
Baby,
not.
knock.
Knock on wood. Hey, Mom. So, listen, my mom is amazing. She's been with me through, my good times and my bad times. When I was going through, addiction, she never gave up on me, and I'm really happy that that she never did give up on me because, maybe I'm not here. So I got very lucky that I had such a loving and caring mother that really, believed in me and just stuck with me and just knew that, one day I would, really get my act together. My dad, they got divorced when I was like, I think 17, 18. I don't want to say too much negative about him. But, he was like an alcoholic until the day he died and never made any effort to do something about it. And, that I'm very, one thing that's sad about that is we never got to really reconcile our relationship because it kind of really split up, after my parents got divorced. It was kind of dying before that because of his drinking and everything. But like the year he died in 2019,
Oh, that's not so long ago.
No, it's not so long ago. Yeah, we were starting to talk a bit, and to maybe he had just moved down to Florida, and we had some plans for me to come down there, and we were going to talk about whatever that was, like the last 25, 27 years, and see what went wrong, not just the drinking or whatever. But then he died, and then ironically, and this is like a bit weird, he died on like the 7-year anniversary of my sobriety.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I'm 7 years sober, and then my father, passed away like that evening. Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where did they come from, or their parents?
Okay, so that so I am a mutt, meaning, I don't know if that term, well, English term, it's usually referred to as a dog, who has many different breeds or whatever, but we also use it, as a slang with when you're talking like this. I am Lithuanian. I am Irish. I am Dutch.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep, little klein beetje. Okay. Scotch, German, and French. So I'm like American melting pot, I identify more with my Irish, Dutch, and Lithuanian. Not that I discount the other. I just know more about it. Like, for instance, my great-grandparents on my mother's side, my grandfathers on my mother's side, parents. So in the early 1900s, not together, but they, at the same time, not even knowing each other, fled Lithuania, from the Russian invasion, and like would run at night through the woods, sleep in the woods during the day.
Really?
Yeah. It was like this. Finally made their way to France, and then eventually made their way to America. Now, again, not together. They then meet in America.
Oh, yeah.
And they meet each other, and, they fall in love. And my first thing my great-grandfather does is go back to Lithuania to fight in World War I. So it's like, you just, like, who's this guy? Like, this is like crazy. And what's weird for me, like, I always had this, like, and my grandfather on my mother's side, John Dofont, miss you, Grandpa. He's up there in heaven. That was like my guy, like, again, because, again, no disrespect to my dad, but my grandfather.
I think you already told me that when we met first.
Yeah. I probably did. Yeah. So my grandfather on my father's side, that was like my guy. He was a deputy chief of the fire department, a Marine who served in World War II, big guy, tall guy, funny guy too. I definitely get a lot. So, I always had this identification with Lithuania. I always wanted to play there. So then I get booked, and the promoter chooses the date and everything. And as it was July 7th, and it was in 2019 for me to play there for the first time. I'm excited. So I announced the date, and my cousin Jane, she sends me a message like, Robbie, you're playing in Lithuania. I go, yeah, isn't it awesome? She's like, yeah, but look at the date. I go, yeah, July 7th. What's that? It's like, I have to show you something. So then she shows me this marriage certificate that says my great-grandparents got married on July 17th, 1919. So like, I'm getting, how do you say, Kippenvel?
Yeah, goosebumps.
The goosebumps, the Kippenvel right now?
Yeah.
So I didn't plan it. And the promoter doesn't know this history. It's like my first time I'm playing Lithuania is on the 100-year anniversary of my great-grandparents getting married. Like, that just blew my mind.
Wow.
And then, of course, I identify a lot with my Irish and Dutch because that's also my grandmother on my mother's side. That's where the Irish and Dutch come from. And the reason I don't mention my father's parents so much is they died when I was very young. I was about 9, 10 years old when my grandfather Gilmore died, as well as 6 months later, my grandmother Gilmore died. I love them. I have some amazing memories from when I was a child, but I really didn't get to know as much as I would like to from that side of the family, from them specifically, just because they died at a very young age.
Mm-hmm. And they all lived in Harrison, which you mentioned before.
We all lived in Harrison, yeah, we all lived in Harrison.
Cool.
Yeah, my grandfather on my father's side was actually a superior court judge. He put away like really big criminals and stuff,
Okay, maybe you can tell the people where they might know you from, because many people know you as Rob G, but maybe explain something about what you did, how you came to this nice haircut and everything.
Well, I mean, I've always loved music, depending like who was like watching me when I was a child. Like, my mother, she loved disco. So yes, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Staying alive, Bee Gees and everything.
My fire.
So, and my father, he loved opera. So
really?
So I was listening, and so did my grandfather on my father's side. So Luciano.
They loved it, or they practiced also?
Oh no! That would have been even great, but no, they were just big fans of opera in general. So we'd listen to the, Mario Lanza or Luciano Pavarotti, and my grandparents were like straight up Frank Sinatra. And then if I was with my aunt on my mother's side, she was like the the cool one. That's where I got my Rolling Stones, my Led Zeppelin, and stuff like that. And then I discovered things like AC/DC on my own, Iron Maiden on my own, hip hop. And I was, as I was explaining before, the same time I had my first set of turntables and I was like, DJing hip hop, I started to play bass and sing in like a metal group, because I also like my Metallica, my Anthrax and stuff. I wasn't really the greatest bass player, still am not, but I was good with the vocals, I was good with the songwriting, and when it all of a sudden in the early 90s, I heard this thing that in America we were calling techno. You guys, I believe, were referring to more as house, even though we were calling house something else,
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, just blown away of like.
But that was music from Richie Hawtin, or
I mean, well, the first, to be honest with you, and I have no problem admitting this, the first techno records that I heard, there was 3 of them being played on pop radio in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one was James Brown is Dead.
Oh,
and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was a hit, eh?
Holy shit, like something I never heard before. T99's Anastasia.
Yeah.
Again, what the hell is this? Enjoy's Mind Flux. And, that's a 3. But I also believe O Fortuna was also getting played.
Okay,
and And I was just like, what is this stuff? This is amazing.
Yeah, can you imagine?
And this drove me to want to find a club, who was playing this, and that brought me to the legendary Limelight, where
already playing there the music, really?
Yeah, dude, like on Lord Michael's Future Shock, which was the Friday night there. They were playing
Lord Michael was the manager, right?
Yeah, he was the manager / director of the whole club, which was owned by Peter 𝐬𝐞𝐞. But his night was Friday night, Lord Michael's Future Shock. And this is where you had repeat DJing. Yeah. And also where you had Jeff Mills DJing at the time as well. And I bring this up, not just because he was playing there, because by this time, I'm maybe like 20, 21, something like this. I was kind of done with the DJing, but not done with the producing. By this time, I've had, a few different drum machines, and I was working on my own little, hip hop metal sort of, hybrid. And it wasn't until I saw Jeff Mills, like, DJ, and he was taking some hardcore records, but then he would take like an a cappella of like MC Shan or Public Enemy's Bring the Noise and play it over the techno record, and he would do a little scratching. I'm like, hey, okay, oh wait, I kind of like this, you know, and it kind of like drew me back in. And then what happened was, at the time, the record stores that I knew of were more of the commercial ones. So when you went to like a Sam Goody or even a Tower Records or something like this, you would go there and be like, "Oh, do you have that record that goes bum 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 bum?" They look at you like you're having a stroke or you're crazy because there wasn't so many vocals. So I then tracked down record stores that sold the 12 inches, whether it was Groove Records owned by Frankie Bones. There was a place called Cafe Sounds in New Jersey. I started to buy the 12-inch records just so I can make my own mixtapes. But again, I wasn't trying to be a DJ again yet. I just wanted to have my own mixtapes that I could play in my car. And yeah, of course I would write Rob G on it because it's my nickname as well. It wasn't just an artist name. And I had friends who attended Limelight with me as also, which were having the same problem. They'd hear this amazing music at the club, but didn't have it to take home. So I started passing the tapes out, and people were like, "Oh man, you should be DJing here. You should be DJing here." I'm like, really? You think so? And I actually did give a cassette to Lord Michael. He put it in his pocket. I never heard from him.
Yeah.
I never heard from him. And but then I came up with a plan. And this is my plan. And a lot of people say they like this story, so I think it's good to share here.
Yeah.
So, Limelight was open Tuesday through Sunday. You know, Tuesday through Saturday, they did play, techno. Tuesday was techno and like a gothic industrial, but they still played techno. Sunday was a rock and roll night. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on a Tuesday where it's popular, but not as popular as the Friday or Saturday. I did not know the promoter that worked there, but his name was Neville. He's actually was a decent guy, but at the time, and this is no secret, he had a bit of a, drinking thing, and he, got to the club and he would get his drinking tickets and go in the VIP room and whatever. And this guy, Tony Fletcher, was the DJ. So I just showed up at Limelight with my record box on a Tuesday and went right to the front of the line with the velvet ropes and said, "I'm the guest DJ." And the security, I guess because I have a record box, "Come right in. You must be the guest DJ." And so I was like, I walked in, looked like the cool entrance. I didn't have to go up the stairs like everyone else. I'm like, okay, now I'm in the club for free. I got my record box. I was like, this part's even awesome. And then I walked up to the DJ booth and I went up to this guy who has no clue who I am. This guy, Tony Fletcher, very nice guy, by the way. And I was like, "Hi." He's like, "Hey." He's so confused because back then, you might have had only one DJ for the whole night, maybe two. It wasn't common to have a DJ every hour. So I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm the guest DJ." And he's like, "Look, guest DJ." And I was like, "Yeah, Neville hired me. You want me to go get him?" He's like, "Oh, no, if Neville hired you, it's cool. When do you want to play?" And I was like, "I'll play at 1 a.m. He's like, "Sure, no problem, And I told some people that I was going to be doing this. So I get on and I grab the microphone, like, "Yo, this is Rob motherfucker G." And that was also not common to do at this time, And I played and I had a little fan base of the people I told was going to do it. And I kept doing this like every week, or every other week or something. Like to the point when I walk up to security, like, "Yo, Rob G, what's up?" I'm not supposed to be playing there. I'm literally stealing time slots at this place.
But the manager didn't came up and say, "Hey, what you doing here?"
Until I pushed it, but I'm glad I pushed it. So I was only doing this on Tuesday. I didn't dare try it on a Wednesday, with Disco 2000 and Michael Alex and Keoki's that thing, or I didn't try Lord Michael's Future Shot. But Saturday, I heard they were gonna, the guy's sister Dimension, who was DJing, was going to be on vacation or something, so they were going to replace him that evening with 5 DJs. Well, I was like, well, it's going to be 6. And I just show up there, and again, as I'm going to the ropes, security's like, "Oh man, gee, it's about time they gave you a Saturday night." They're cheering for me, because I'm always, so nice saying hello to them and everything. Yeah. And here I am playing on a Saturday night at Limelight, New York City, which at the time was the hottest club in New York City. Not just for this music. Everyone was there. You had famous people.
1991?
This is probably the end of 92, beginning of 93 when this actually moment happened. And, you know, Wall Street's there, you know, like the who's who. I mean, it was just packed. And, you know, line around the corner. So now I'm playing and the crowd's going crazy. Now here comes Lord Michael. I don't see him. He starts hitting my back, and not in the nicest way. He's like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, I'm Rob G. He's like, who the fuck is Rob G? I'm like, it's me. He's like, are you being wise with me, asshole? I go, no, man. He's like, and then he looks at the other DJ. He's like, oh, you know, which one of these jerk offs is letting you play? I go, none of them. I'm just kind of playing. And because the crowd is going so well, he doesn't want to disrupt that energy. So he went and sat in this little chair that was like to the left of the turntables where you could like watch over. And I know you know it because you guys were there. Not that night, but later on. And but and he's watching, and the crowd's going crazy. And then I get done. You know, he doesn't say anything to me, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I give him my business card. He just looks at it, puts it in his pocket, doesn't say shit. And now I'm getting nervous.
That's Lord Michael.
Yeah. I'm like, so now I'm like, am I gonna be banned from my favorite club? Like, this isn't like good. That following Tuesday, I get a phone call, you know, maybe it was like 11 in the morning or something like this. And of course, I'm still sleeping. I was a vampire at this point, you know? And I'm like, hello? He's like, is this Rob G? I'm like, yeah, who's this? He's like, it's Michael Lord. Now, I didn't realize during the day he switches his name to Michael Lord instead of Lord Michael. I didn't catch that. So I go, who the fuck's Michael Lord? Same thing. Exactly. Same thing. Yeah. So he goes, Lord Michael. I go, oh. He's like, well, listen here, tough guy. I hear you've been stealing time slots from me in my club for like the last few months. I go, it's true. He's like, well, how would you like to do it for real? I go, I would love it. He's like, good. Your name's on the flyer already. You start this Friday, my night, Lord Michael's Future Shock. And that's how it happened.
Wow, man. What a story.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
man.
Really great story.
Crazy, right?
It's such a crazy story, but that's why it's so good.
Dude, it's amazing. I mean, like, when it was happening, yes, of course, I was, like, so psyched and happy, but as I retell these stories, I'm like, wow, like, that took balls, like, to walk up to, like, the hottest club in New York City. Yeah, I'm the guest DJ, and then just, like, demand.
Unbelievable.
Like, yeah, you're crazy.
I'm now thinking about the Marathon, which is a big club here in The Hague, and it was fully packed with 5,000 people every weekend.
Right.
It's impossible that I walk up there because I wanted to play there very so much, you know. So it's hard to imagine to just walk up there to Erik Benjamin or Rens van der Mar and just in the middle of that's impossible.
Yeah, like at the time, I had my record box. I was like, oh, he's got a record box. He must be a guest DJ.
But I know because the Limelight, it's a church.
It was an old church that they converted into a club.
And when we played there at first time in '93, the DJ booth was all up, and you couldn't see it really.
Right, yeah, it was right way up in the top.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where this happened. So, like, I'm here on the turntables, and, like, to the left of the turntables, there was a little spot with a chair, and that's where Lord Michael would, like, I call it his perch, because he'd be up there like an eagle or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a gargoyle just watching over the crowd.
What was his real name?
Michael Caruso.
Oh, he was from Italy.
He's definitely a Goomba Italian descent. Later on, he went on to, and he still to this day manages Ghostface Killer of Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're still in contact. He's a good dude, and I give him a lot of props for giving me as far as my big New York club start. You know.
Yeah.
And then how my first record came out. Well, that's a completely other story, which if you want, we can get into.
Yeah, we do that later on.
Yeah.
Hey, what makes you happy most?
Honestly, just being alive and music. Knowing that my mother's still here. Yeah, I know that maybe sounds like some cliche answers, but honestly, I just but I guess. Yeah, I guess the music really is the thing because I love the whole process. I love creating something which just comes out of nowhere. It's not like I go like, okay, I'm going to create now. I'm just like, maybe I'm about to go in the shower or I'm driving down the street or something. And I get this thing and then like I'll record it in my phone or, and then when I go in the studio and do it, and then just, make the test master and then play it for the crowd. Like, that just gives me, great joy that I get, something I create brings like such happiness to other people. And then we have like this like ping pong energy that goes back and forth constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, man. Tonight.
Yeah. That's the new one with Coda. I'm very excited about this.
Who's Coda? Is she a Japanese DJ? Or?
She's a female singer.
Okay.
From the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We became friends a few years back. She's appeared on other collaborations with some mostly hardstyle artists, I feel. Although she's definitely done some hardcore stuff as well. I just liked her as a person. I think she's such a cool person. Vocally, she's classically trained. She's amazing, so I always loved her voice. And then, I wanted to do something that was a bit of a throwback to the happiness, happy sound of like the 90s, but still keep it hard. And so I started writing this idea of Tonight, and when I got it done, not done, but to the point where I wanted to show her, I was like, hey, here's the track. Here's what I wrote lyrically. But please feel free to put your own little twist on it. I'm not like, a dictator with the music or whatever. And so she changed a couple things, and but pretty much sang it like the way I heard it she was going to do it. And I'm really happy with the result. It was a great match. Yeah, and where did you release the track? It's on my label, 𝐬𝐞𝐞 Music, which is 𝐬𝐞𝐞. Okay. So instead of 𝐬𝐞𝐞, 𝐬𝐞𝐞, like
𝐬𝐞𝐞. Ain't nothing but a 𝐬𝐞𝐞, baby. Although that's a Snoop Dogg thing, but yeah, Rob G. So 𝐠-𝐸𝐻, big A, NG Music. Yeah, and the G. So Rob G is from Robert Gilmore, right? So yes and no. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Yes, my real name is Robert Gilmore. So people think, oh, it's Rob G. That's why. Technically, no. The reason I'm Rob G is going back to the hip hop. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I was like the first kid in my neighborhood to, break dance and listen to hip hop. And a lot of my, white peers, they weren't into that yet. They still AC/DC, Iron Maiden, or maybe the freestyle Guido music or whatever. And they, so they were kind of making fun of me a little bit. They're like, oh, look at Robbie G. Robbie G's going to spin on his head. Robbie G's a big break dancer, and Robbie G. And because at that point, my breakdancing name was Freeze, which I completely stole from the band Freeze, Freeez. Pop Goes My Love, and I read off a label, and I go, that should be my breakdancing name, even though it's already an artist name. So when I heard the Robbie G, I'm like, okay, I don't really necessarily like the Robbie G, and I go, but I was like Rob G, and I wrote it down. But the G looked lonely, so I added 2 E's, and I was like, okay, that looks nice. 3 letters and 3 letters. 6 is my favorite number. It's got 6 digits and 6 letters, and that stuck. And I'm like, so yes, my last name's Gilmore, but it really came from, one of my, white peers kind of having a little bit of a laugh with me. Okay. Which is ironic because now this was grammar school. As we get into high school, and you got, Run DMC with Aerosmith and Walk This Way and the Beastie Boys, of course. These same white kids were like, hey, Rob, can you record me the new Public Enemy? Can you record me the new LL Cool J? So, they came around from their, busting my chops. Yeah. You still got irritations in your life, or are you now? I don't know. I don't think I really have any irritations. There's things that I wish people could be more in control of, and a big thing for me is patience. I used to not be so patient. I'm very patient these days, but when I see someone not being patient, I don't get like, because that would be maybe even a little hypocritical. So I just let people like have their moment. So I really don't let anything irritate me. But there are things that I do take notice of, like, again, someone being patient, someone being, prejudgmental, because, listen, we're all different human beings. Some of us come from this country, some of us come from that country, some are into this religion, that religion. And I think it's unfair to say all people of anything are this, or all people who do, worship this is this, or all people who have this type of job are this. There's good, bad, and ugly everywhere, and I'm more about getting to know the human being as a whole and not make a generalization about. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You sound like a Buddhist.
Hey, look at me.
Well, that's good. A Buddhist with ACDC on the t-shirt.
That's it. You know it, bro. Yeah. The irony.
You got the guilty pleasures in your life?
Yeah. The only guilty pleasures I have right now, I want to do less of.
Yeah, you told
less
me in the
Ben
car.
and Jerry's. You know. Oh man, those Ben and Jerry bastards up in Vermont.
Sugar, yeah.
They made the well, it's not no, it's more ice cream. Like you know,
really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not really a big chocolate guy or something. I mean, I like chocolate, but I don't love chocolate. I really don't reach for like candy bars or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
My big downfall would be ice cream. You know, and specifically usually Ben and Jerry's. You know, they made it so perfect. They made this container that you could hold in your hand and you rip it open and you put a spoon and yeah. So that's the only thing more is a guilty pleasure. Other things that might have been a guilty pleasure in the past. Actually, no. I'll say what I was about to say, but it was never a guilty pleasure. So like, even though yes, I'm Mr. Hardcore, I had no problem telling you I also like the Backstreet Boys, or I like New Kids on the Block, or you know, Britney Spears or Celine Dion. Like I'm very open about all that. They're not really guilty pleasures because I just like a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Cool, man. And we have a surprise question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get ready. Yeah.
Punk or hardcore?
What? Punk or hardcore?
Yeah.
So, and let me ask you this. So, when you say hardcore, though, you're talking about what we do, right?
Yes.
See, because that's before I answer the question. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because when I was telling my friends in New York, you know, and this is in the early '90s, that I'm making, you know, hardcore, they're like, "It's not hardcore, bro. What are you talking about? Hardcore is Biohazard. Hardcore is the Cro-Mags. Hardcore is Madball."
Yeah.
And they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That is what hardcore is.
Yeah,
This is what I also grew up with. This is also my music.
Yeah.
You know, and because in America we were calling it hardcore techno. You know, and then of course eventually the techno got dropped. It was just hardcore. But you know, over here, at least in the early '90s, I mean, hardcore was being used, but with the word gabber was being used quite a bit as well. And it's funny, like even like going back to like bands like the Cro-Mags, that was hardcore punk, which then they chopped the punk off, and it was like just hardcore. So I just want to make that little distinction. Hardcore, and I'll tell you why. Because especially with the hardcore that I make, I'm able to bring elements of punk in. I'm able to bring elements of metal or hip hop or classical music. I could do anything I want with hardcore. So it's for me. It's not a box, you know. You could do it any way you want.
Great, man.
Yeah,
and that's how we started.
Yeah, baby.
That's how we started,
you
man.
Know it, bro. That's right, Charlie Little Noise, ladies and gentlemen.
I have to go back, and I'm not sure how we really met because I know that we were playing at that time in the Limelight. We played in, I think it was 𝐬𝐿. We did a gig in New Haven. Yep. We did one in Philadelphia, and we did one in Washington, Theo and me.
And Cleveland.
Oh, in Cleveland, yeah, man.
So this is
and
it.
This is it because you repeat. You two also were in the truck, eh?
Yeah, in the truck, yeah.
In the camper.
Yeah, it was you, Theo,
this
me,
story.
Repeat. I think Damon Wild was also
Lenny?
there.
Lenny?
Yeah, Lenny.
And also Natasha and...
I was going to say Natasha, she worked for Arcade at the time.
Leslie,
who taught me the Dutch alphabet on the way to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the old DJ, what's it? Scott Forbush.
Yeah. Now, was Roughneck with us also? I think Patrick was with us, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I'm almost positive he was.
Really?
I think so. I think he was like sleeping above the...
Then he was sleeping all the time because...
I think he was sleeping all the time.
I can't remember.
We'll have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure he was part of this little, tour or whatever. But yeah, Scott Forbush, great guy.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He's not with us anymore.
When did he pass away?
Man, at least 10 years ago, maybe even longer.
Really? Because he was really hardcore.
Yeah, very big on the drinking. In fact, if you remember... We're driving from New York to Cleveland, which is a 10-hour drive, and I'm just looking. Yeah, but no one knew what he was drinking. You know, so we're like, and like I'm like, what's in that? He's like, cranberry. I go, cranberry juice. I'm like, what else? He's like, yeah, vodka, mate. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And like the rest of the like the motorhome or the little truck where we were in, Winnebago or something like that heard of that, and then we pulled over to the next rest stop, and like I guess you all, and I agree also, all demanded in a nice way. We didn't make such a big deal about it, but Rob should drive the rest of the way to Cleveland because this guy is obviously, he drove this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drove from Cleveland to New York drinking the whole way and was going to go back that way. So I wound up driving for, and got us into Cleveland safe and sound, know.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could say something about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, tell us everything.
It's important for our history, actually.
Yeah.
It's at that so I had already had, my first Riot Squad record out. So Nonchalant to Stockin had already come out. And I was, working on this other song, with Repeat and Romeo, the MC of the Limelight.
Yeah.
And this was right in New York. So I had the acetate. And yeah, and we played.
You gave us that.
Yes,
afterwards when we went home.
Because we played it on in Cleveland, and you and Theo were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "This is back the fuck up," because Romeo. They're like,
it was crazy.
We're here.
Yeah,
and they're like, we want to make remixes of this. We want to do this, and that's exactly what you did. And you and Theo made 2 amazing remixes.
Yeah,
like even I was telling you earlier. Listen, I love my original that I did, but I usually play, Mental Low Noise Mix 1, which starts off the That's that's it. It's just very cool with that slow to fast intro, and then
I told you that my idea was from
Paul's
Paul remix,
drum machine
remix.
Yeah, with this,
Break Up the Casio.
Well,
and
I'm glad you did that because it's awesome, and I pretty much played it every set of mine.
Yeah, great, man.
And the crowd loves it.
Yeah, great. Okay, take me back to the time that we have like a little Rob, 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, little Rob, 8 years old, kind of goes back to what I was saying before. This is when I'm being really exposed to music. So whoever was, okay, the term is babysitting. Even if you're not a baby who's ever watching you. Yeah, I was really, music was a big part of that. Like, as I said before, of whoever was watching me to kind of dictated what music I was, listening to. But I was like any other kid. I like my He-Man, and
oh really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got my little He-Man dolls, G.I. Joe, you know.
Big Jim.
Yeah, I didn't have Big Jim.
Okay. Action Man.
Yeah, I didn't have Action Man, but G.I. Joes, He-Man definitely, Star Wars.
Yeah.
You had all Star Wars figures, huge. I mean, I think the first Star Wars came out in '77 or something like this, and then Empire Strikes Back right after. So. Huge Star Wars fan, definitely more about the dark side because I just think Darth Vader and Boba Fett and
everybody was a really big fan of Star Wars.
It was so good. Big. I mean,
why is this?
I don't know. It was just so great. And what was amazing about like something like Star Wars is like, okay, I didn't have anything against like Luke and Leia and Han. You kind of rooted for both. At least I was. I like the darkness of Darth Vader, but I also liked, the spiritual fight of the rebellion as well. It was just like great. And then Empire Strikes Back, that's still hands down for me my favorite Star Wars film. And it's just like every time you see Darth Vader, dun 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 dun, dun, like, oh, was that John Williams? I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Are you still in contact with Repeat?
Yeah, we actually do talk from time to time. He's not really involved in music as much as he used to be. There was definitely a bit of a gap. I believe he got into some sort of accident or something like that at some point. But recently he's been back in the studio, not to make hardcore though. I don't know. I'm not sure really what to call it. I don't mean it in a bad way either. I'm just trying to he showed me some stuff and it's cool.
Yeah, okay.
But he's not really Definitely not in the hardcore world.
No,
you know.
I can remember that I bought this Jupiter synthesizer of him. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, was it Jupiter 6? Or
Yeah, it was Jupiter
okay.
6.
Yeah.
It was the last time that we visited, and then I took it into the plane.
Oh wow, very
I
cool.
remember stewardess saw me coming in, and what is this?
Yeah, what is this thing? Yeah.
Hand luggage.
I mean, a great piece. Great piece, yeah. But we keep in contact. I think he's making some old 12-gauge record shirts now.
Okay.
Yeah, he contacted me and asked me if I would have an issue with it. I'm like, no, man. I mean, that was then, and you were a part of that as well. So do it.
Yeah. At the time, Theo and me were also playing in a club called NASA. NASA. Yeah.
NASA.
Yes.
Yeah, that was run by 𝐧-𝐞𝐫. That was right there on right outside the mouth of the Holland Tunnel.
Yeah, but what was it? It was like a cellar, like a...
Yeah, the actual venue's name was The Shelter.
Shelter, yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yeah.
The name of the evening was NASA.
Oh, yeah.
Run by 𝐧-𝐞𝐫, who I'm also in contact
also
with.
used the logo of NASA.
Yeah, just completely used the logo of NASA and everything.
Yeah.
And that was like a rave staple of New York City.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't cater so much to hardcore as much. I mean, yes, you guys were there. I think I played there maybe once or twice. But
Moby played in before us, I think.
Moby was one of the first, people from there. That was more. I think it was like more of the more mellow stuff, the break beats, the beginnings of jungle and stuff. And not that they didn't have, any hardcore, but it was rare. It wasn't as predominant as what was going on at Limelight's Lord Michael's Future Shock.
Yeah, I can remember when we came in there, we were used to play with faders.
Right.
And they were playing there with mixing with knobs.
The Uri.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Uri mixer where it's like knobs.
The old one.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring that point up because, okay, the Uri was, you made it work, but if you were trying to scratch it, you had to really be creative about it. Right. But I remember the first time I came to the Netherlands, I mean, I also was more used to a crossfader too.
Yeah.
Because even at the Limelight, they had the Uri sometimes, and sometimes they would switch it out for the Rain. So the Rain just had a couple channels, but you still had a crossfader. So, first time I come to the Netherlands, it's not even a regular DJ mixer. It's a mixing console with like 16 channels and with these long ass faders. And I'm like, I remember my first international show, which was A Nightmare in Rotterdam #4. I'm like, I was a bit, like, how am I going to do this? Because I'm not used to going, up and down. And of course I got used to it, but it was very uncommon at that time to have a crossfader. And I remember I used to watch, like Ferry, Gizmo.
Yeah.
He would...
He's so good at that.
So good. But the way he was like bent over, his posture, he was like going like this.
That's it.
I was like, wow, he looks like a praying mantis. Yeah, which is, it's funny. I said that to my fellow American Delirium. He's like, dude, he likes to smoke, he's like, that's dope. Can I use that? And then I was like, sure, use it, and Delirium wound up making a praying mantis his logo, but that's where he got it from, because I was like observing Gizmo's posture of mixing on up and down faders. Yeah.
Can you take us in your story a little bit,
Sure.
like when you started using drugs and everything, and how come?
So in high school, I did not use drugs, actually.
Oh, really?
No. I think I tried cocaine once when I was like 15. And I mean like 2 little lines, and did it. And I was just up for the night. Like, just, in the best mood of my life, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I didn't go and look for it the next day.
No.
So
there was no addiction at that moment?
No. The only thing I did was like, called a lot of people on the phone and, in the middle of the night because I want to talk to people. And then I think I did it again because, it was when I was in high school, I was playing soccer or football, but, in America, of course, we say soccer, although the rest of the world says football, except Australia, they also say soccer. I was not, and because of my father and what I went through with him with alcohol, I was really like, I don't want to be a drinker either. You know, I'm not saying I didn't have a drink, but I definitely did not. When most of my high school buddies were getting drunk, I was like the sober one. You know, I was never into weed or marijuana or anything like this, and I definitely didn't get into any of this, you know, other things like LSD or anything till, you know, while I was in high school, because, like I said, I was an athlete and I wanted to keep my speed. I didn't mind trying the cocaine because I was like, well, fuck it. Yeah, but I did it. But again, I didn't go to look for it. Maybe a few years later, when I'm in my junior or senior year, I did it again. And same thing. I did a little cocaine, but then I didn't do it again. Then, you know, as we go to the moment where I'm starting to go to Limelight, and, you know, I hear about this thing called Ecstasy, and, you know, and at the time it wasn't really as popular in the whole club scene. It was a little more popular like in the gay scene a little bit, but now it's starting to break its way into like, you know, just the club scene as a whole. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is like really good. And yeah, I had some friends who were doing that, but they also, you know, did, you know, cocaine, and I was getting more into that. And then all this is happening while the Rob G moment is happening as well. And when the Rob G moment happened, forget about it. I mean, because, you know, I grew up with bands with like AC/DC and Motley Crue. I was like, fuck it, bro. This is a rock star life, you know? You know, so yeah, I would, you know, do a lot of cocaine. I would also do ecstasy, not together, because the coke would kill the high of the ecstasy. So, you know, you wouldn't do that. And I didn't really drink that much, to be honest with you. I really didn't. I'm not saying I didn't drink, but I didn't drink as much. Like, to the point where when I was doing so much cocaine, my peers, you know, whether it was Lenny D or, you know, or this one or that one, would be like, dude, how do you not drink and like do so much blow? And I never smoked cigarettes. I was not a, you know, I tried it, but I was never a smoker. They're like, how are you doing all this cocaine and, you know, not wanting to smoke or, you know, have something to balance it out? I was just like, nope, I just like the cocaine, you know? And I actually stopped the drugs. And some people, there's a misconception about my sobriety because it's 13 years, but in 1998, I actually did stop the drugs. You know, so I'm only 27 at this time. And the reason I did this, and maybe I'm a little superstitious or whatever, I didn't want to join that club of Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Not that I said, hey, I'm such a big star like Jim Morrison, but I'm like, these are also human beings.
It's an archetypal path.
Right. I'm like, okay, so they're musicians. I'm sure they didn't want to die at 27. I was like, so I was a little terrified coming up upon my 27th birthday that I cut it out. And I wasn't really a big drinker. So I didn't try to stop drinking. I just wasn't drinking that much. A few years later, I think I was in Australia, and now I hadn't done drugs for a while. And I was like, I'm kind of bored. Let me get some wine. So I was being fancy. I got a pen full Shiraz from the Canunga Hills, and I got my little wine glass, and I was drinking. I'm like, okay, this is what normal people do. They drink. So I'm now closing in on my 30s. I'm just going to be a normal person. And it didn't happen overnight, but within a couple months, what would happen is I would start to drink, and then I couldn't stop.
So this is how it goes. Eh? It just grabs you.
It really grabs you.
Yeah.
And then it was like I would go on a bender or a binge. It was 3 or 4 days of nonstop drinking. You know, so whether it was a bottle of wine or a bottle of vodka, like we would start maybe at a party, but then I didn't even want to be part of that anymore. I wanted to be by myself, alone in my room, whether it was a hotel. Oh yeah, it was very depressing, man. It wasn't even like fun. Like once I got deep into the bender, it was sad. It was very sad and depressing. I would just be there, and then I would pass out, and then, you know, I'd wake up, take some more vodka, and pass out again. And you know, and then if I ran out, and I would always run out at like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I would wait till 10 a.m. that I could go to the liquor store and buy another bottle. And those would be like the longest, you know, 2-3 hours of my life, you know, waiting. And when I would walk to the liquor store, and this is just how strong addiction can get you, sometimes I would be crying. I mean, crying my eyes out because
I can imagine.
mentally, I didn't want to go.
No.
But my body had to bring me there, and I had to get that bottle of vodka. And I can't tell you how many horrible mornings I had like that. And I wanted to stop so bad, and I made several attempts, and then I would be good for a little while, and then I would fail. And then I'd do it again. And I remember I was being good for, maybe a year or two. And then my grandfather on my mother's side, the one I mentioned earlier, who was like my idol, it was 2007, I believe. So on and off between 99 to 2007, I'm sober, but then I'm drinking. I'm sober. I kept falling off the wagon, as they say. But I remember I had some good clean time, and then he passed away. So not the moment he passed away, but, we had the funeral, we had the repast, which is like a bit of a dinner or something after the burial and everything. And I had to go play in Los Angeles, and I didn't want to go. But my mother and my grandmother insisted, your grandfather would want you to go. So I was like, okay, I'll go. As soon as I got to my little hotshot hotel there on Sunset Strip, I went right next door, got a big bottle of Grey Goose and some Red Bull, and that was it. I was fucked up. I don't even remember playing that show. It was, I heard it was dope. I heard I did well, but I don't have any recollection of it whatsoever. It was crazy. But then that was, again, between 2007 and 2012, when I eventually got sober to where I am now. This is, it was, on and off, on the wagon, off the wagon.
But at that time, when you were drinking, you were not on cocaine?
No.
Okay.
Cocaine only came back into the picture from 2011 to 2012.
Okay.
What happened was, it was 2011, and there was a girl, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to blow her spot up, but she'll know who it is as I tell the story. Anyway, we went to grammar school together, and we were only like she was a couple years younger. Nothing ever happened. We were just like, she was in that grade. I was, in she was in 5th grade. I was in 8th grade. Just aware that we went to grammar school together. We went to high school. She was a freshman. I was a senior. Again, nothing ever happened, she was cute, but she's young. So but when you get older, those 3-4 years are not that big of a difference, when you're, I guess, let me see. So I'm 54. I would have been, back then, I guess I was just about to turn 40. So I think I'm now in 2000, I would be, I think 39, and she's like 36. That's not a big difference. No. And I think we contacted each other on Facebook, and we're talking, and we kind of expressed I used to think you were cute or whatever, and blah blah blah. It was kind of like this nostalgic thing, and she suggested that we should get some ecstasy and just hang out together. And I'm like, well, it's been a while, and I've really never had a problem with ecstasy, And so we got a bunch of ecstasy, and we were just in my house. It was a beautiful summer evening. I have a big balcony. It was a beautiful day, and we were just getting high and, feeling amazing and, exploring each other or whatever. But then the ecstasy ran out, and, now I was jonesing for something, and she's like, well, I can't get any more ecstasy. I could, but I get some cocaine. And I was like, sure. And I was like, I guess I thought I was like Tony Montana or something like that. I was like, yeah, here's $300. Let me have 2 8-balls. Why am I ordering 7 grams of cocaine at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? I don't even think I even did that when I was actively using cocaine, but I was still so high from the ecstasy that I got all this blow.
Yeah.
And we were doing it, but then eventually she left, and I'm left with all this cocaine. And of course, I asked for the guy's number, and so that did come back into the picture from 2011 until April 13, 2012, when I finally got sober. But I must say, even during that last year of using cocaine, alcohol was really the bad one. I never woke up like how I did in the 90s and say, I just want to do some cocaine. It was usually after I was getting drunk, but alcohol by far was the scariest and the most hard thing to get away from. Luckily, something very special did happen to me the day I did stop to where I am now.
Tell.
Okay. So it's, I was playing that year. I was playing at, it was
You also got to drink something in between.
Yeah, maybe let me have a little something. Yeah, here. Still gonna finish the coffee before we get into the aqua.
Yeah.
Here we go. me. All right. So it was 2012. It was Easter Sunday, 2012, and I'm playing at Club Number 1 in Italy. Love this place. Still one of my favorite places in the world to play. I play, rock it, crowd crazy, have some beers afterwards, no problem. Go to the hotel room, cleared out the minibar, fucking fucked up. Went to the Malpensa airport. I'm in the first class lounge, getting hammered, flying, business class, home. I'm not trying to flex. It's part of the story. That's why I'm mentioning the business class. Flying, back to New Jersey, drinking the whole way. Even on the approach to Newark Airport, I'm asking the flight attendant for some more white wine. And she's like, sir, we're on our approach to, the airport, the airport. I said, yeah, don't worry about it. And the reason I bought the business class, they pretty much do, anything you want.
Yeah.
So she gave me my glass of white wine, and I was actually pretty together until this point. So I take that last sip, and at that moment, I knew I was fucking fucked up. And back then, you had to fill out these forms, even if you were an American coming to America, a declaration form. I couldn't even write my name. So,
oh really?
My motor skills were trashed. I couldn't even write my name. So I put an X on it. And I get to the customs agent, and I put this paper down, and he's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, this is what I got. He's like, what do you mean this is what you got? Put an X on the paper. What's wrong with you? I go, that's what I got. He's like, are you drunk? I go, very.
You were very honest.
Yeah, very. He's like, come with me. And I have, so I go with him, and I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? Anyway, it's a bit of a blur, but he helped me get my baggage. And this customs agent, from the United States, customs agency, walked me out to a taxi. And this I do remember. He put me in the taxi. He put my bags. I remember him opening the door of the driver where they have the medallion and the ID number of the driver. And the guy said, this guy better get home because this is your medallion number. If you think you're going to try to rob him or do something stupid, I'm going to come find you. So this guy, he made sure.
Wow, this is goosebumps.
Yeah, right. More kippenvel.
All those people do exist.
Yeah. So he made a point that get this guy home safely. I did get home safely, but you would think maybe that would have been a bit of a wake-up call. Nope. I had a bottle of Grey Goose in the refrigerator, in the freezer, started drinking it, and here I go. I go on a bender. Next morning, I buy another bottle. Next morning, another bottle. So here's where it happens. It was like the third day, and I show up to this liquor store. I put my bottle of Grey Goose down to the same guy who had sold to me the previous 2 days. And he just looked at me and said, no way, man. That's it. 3 letters, 3 words. No way, man. That's all he said. I put the bottle down, and I left. Now, there was a liquor store across the street. There was a liquor store across around the corner. You could call and it's not hard to get liquor. It's not, some, rare magical thing, And I remember going home and being able to go to sleep, which was weird because when you're jonesing for alcohol, you can't just go to sleep. You have to get that drink in you. And I just was able to go to sleep. And this was not a time that I said, never again, because there were so many times I said never again, especially, when I was telling you earlier that I would be crying walking to the liquor store. This was not one of those times, but I do remember being able to sleep peacefully. And then this was on April 12th of 2012. And then about 5 months went by. And my mother, who I mentioned I'm very close with, we're on the phone. And she's like, Robbie, you haven't drank in 5 months. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. You're right. Like, what's going on? And without even thinking, I was eating better, which I didn't make a decision to do. I just kind of was doing it. I was back in the gym. And again, I didn't say, I'm going to be back in the gym. I was just kind of doing it. And I was sober. I'm like, wow, this is really odd. So I started writing about it on my social media. And not in a like alcohol's bad or drugs are bad or something like that. I just
sharing.
Yeah, sharing my story, because I also know, especially in the hardcore scene, I mean everywhere, but especially in the hardcore scene, and definitely at that time, there are a lot of people that are drinking or using. And listen, I'm not saying it's bad, because for some people, I know a lot of people who can drink and they enjoy themselves. They have a couple glasses of wine or whatever. Yeah. I even know some people that could use some substances and they're not addicted. They go out and they have a good time, and that's fine. But I also know there's some people who do have a problem, and maybe they're embarrassed to talk about it or look for help or whatever. So that's why I wanted to share my message. So I start doing that on the 13th of every month, because I mark April 13th as my first day of sobriety, of nothing in me. So now, me being me, I want to go back to this liquor store and thank this man, because this man saved my life. I mean, he did. If he doesn't say, no way, man, I get the bottle of vodka, maybe I'm not here right now. You know, who knows? You know, and I don't mean here within the studio with you. I mean, not here on this planet. So I keep going back and he's not there. I go back again, he's not there. This one for 3 years. You know, I didn't go every day, but I went enough. And then this time I walk in and there's a picture of him on the wall, and there's flowers and there's candles. And I was like, damn, I knew what happened. So I went to the man behind the counter. I was like, sir, who is that? He's like, that's my son. I was like, oh, what happened? He's like, well, he passed away. I was like, oh, sir, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry. I go, listen, sir, you're going to think I'm crazy. Okay, but I 3 years ago, I was in here and I was trying to buy a bottle of vodka, and your son, although he was very nice about it, he refused to sell me a bottle of vodka, and I have not drank since this day. I go, your son saved my life.
He's a hero.
Like, he's my hero. He's my guardian angel. I was like, your son saved my life. So I've been trying to come in here to thank him, because I was like, if he doesn't do that, maybe, like, again, I'm not here. And I was like, if I can't thank him, sir, can I please thank you? And this old Indian man grabbed me, and he's like, no, thank you. I'm like, sir, thank you, but why are you thanking me? And he's like, listen, my son, Neil, his name is Neil, he died on a motorcycle. He's like, and I was the father who said, you're going to kill yourself on that thing. How do you think I feel that he did die on a motorcycle? And I'm like, and I'm starting to cry and just like, you know, he's like, but now you have come into my store and you told me that my son saved your life. He's like, so now, and these are his words, not mine. He's like, now I know that my son was sent to the earth to save your life so that you could do good for others. And at this point, I'm fucking like dying. And and
what a story, man.
And thank you, brother. And I'm like, sir, I go, I'm already doing this. I go, I'm very open about it with anyone who wants to talk about it. I go, I'm in the music industry where I have a lot of fans, and I speak to them on my social media, or when I'm in, you know, at the venue I'm playing or wherever. I go, I'm very, very open about it. He's like, you know, good, you keep doing that.
Unbelievable, because I read also something on Party Vlog that you also talk to people who are in really big problems.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So since I've been so open about it, some people will write me publicly, but then a lot of people will write me privately, or people come up to me at an event or something, and I'm very open to speak about addiction and alcoholism. And you know, anybody who wants some help, if I could share something to help them, I'm there. And I've had many fans who've come, and again, these are their words, not mine. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but they're like, you know, Rob, like, you know, Rob G, I want you to know that, you know, you saved my life. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, I stopped using because of you. He's like, when I see you on stage and you're still going crazy and you're like, and you're still being like, you know, maybe even more energy than you even had when you were high. I was like, if this guy can do this sober, why can't I haka sober or just have a good time? So it's like, now I go to parties sober, and he's like, and it's because of you, you know, I was, you know, doing this, I was doing that. And, you know, so it's amazing to hear that.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Great story.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, really great. So you never went into a professional clinic or
No. Well, okay. On getting sober now for these 13 years, no. I never was in it. Now, on attempts before, I actually never went to a clinic, but I did try to seek some professional help.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I did try, the 12 steps. And at the time, this is prior to this sobriety, it just didn't work for me.
No.
Obviously, I kept getting high, but I was a little initially back then, and I was turned off because when I first went into, one of my first meetings, like, some of the people in charge were kind of like, well, you got to stop DJing. You got to stop doing this. I'm like, well, you fucking crazy? This is my, forget about the drugs and the alcohol. It's like, I understood where it was coming from a good place, but I was like, music is my life. I go, I'm not changing that. Plus, like, I also thought it was a bit ridiculous because, so am I supposed to not walk down a street that has a liquor store? Should I not go to a restaurant that serves liquor anymore? Like, so I was a bit turned off by that. But at the same time, when people ask me about, whether it's therapy or the 12 steps or anything, I say, and this is one of my, he was a Dr. Spinazzola. He was my doctor who I did go to try to help with the substance abuse, but he was also one of my professors in college, which also taught a drug abuse class. That's how I got linked up with him. Yeah. He always said, I'm for whatever works. For whatever's going to save your life, if that works for you, you do that. So I still practice like that same mantra,
Yeah. Great, man.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Now, fast forward to today, I am involved in the 12 steps.
Yeah, I thought you were, because every time we have during ADE this meeting.
Right. So let me expand on that. Yeah. So my first 10 years of sobriety, meaning this run I got going on right now, and let's hope it lasts, knock on wood. So first 10 years I didn't go to one meeting, not one.
No.
And I could say this now because he's also open about his sobriety, our dear friend Fabian. It was I was closing, I was in my later part of my 9th year of sobriety, and we became friends through the music. He expressed how, man, I used to
he was a big fan of you.
Yeah. Exactly. He expressed he's a big fan of me, and we became close. And I remember he was asking me questions about my sobriety, but I didn't think anything of it. And honestly, even though we were friends, I didn't realize he had gone through.
Problem.
Did not know.
No.
So, he invited me down to Appledorn to his place and his studio, and we're talking, and, I thought we were just hanging out, which we were, had some lunch, had a good time. And then we go in his studio, and I knew we weren't going to make music. At least I didn't think we were, because we didn't talk about that. Although it would be great, I'm sure we would make something awesome. But he's like, this is what I really want to talk to you about. And he lays it on me, how he had a cocaine problem, an alcohol problem, but he's asking me questions. Like, he's like, are you sure you never went to a meeting? I go, well, I mean, like, a long time ago, but I never got into the steps and the book or anything. I go, not like, this is like, in the 90s at some point, and, so no. The answer really is no. And he's like, but you say so many things that are like in there. Yeah. And one of the things that stood out, which I was very proud of because I thought I came up with it. I mean, I did in my own mind, but I definitely did not plagiarize it, because I said it. I did not find out it was in the big book until Fabian told me it was in the big book.
Okay.
And that was the comparison of an allergy. Like, I started like talking about that on my own. Like, is it so hard to believe that, some people can eat strawberries and some people cannot, or some people can, eat shellfish and some people can't. And, maybe with, strawberries, maybe your throat's not closing or something, or you're choking if you're drinking alcohol, but if you're putting alcohol in your body, it's a negative reaction. So the mindset should be the same, that some people can drink and some people cannot, but like, I found out later, like, that's also in there. But he was like blown away that I came to where I was on my own. So he's like, listen, we have this special meeting that we do on a Wednesday. He's like, I would love for you to be the speaker. And this is amazing. On the 10th year of my sobriety, on that Wednesday, 2012, happened to be a Wednesday. So not only am I doing it at their meeting, which now became our meeting as well.
Yeah, the Wednesday session.
Wednesday session.
Yeah.
It was right on my 10-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
Like, it's so weird.
Wow.
My father dies on my 7-year anniversary. I speak at this amazing meeting of all these amazing men and women on not the day before, not the day after, right on the 10-year anniversary. It just seems like something else is out there. And going back to Neil, who saved my life, my guardian angel, like, people always ask me, like, like if we're at a bar or something like this, like, you don't feel any temptation? And I'm like, no, I don't. I go, and I'm not trying to be like cocky or about it. I really don't, man. And I really truly believe on that day, of April 12th, the day before I got sober, 2012, when Neil said, no way, man, I really feel there was some demon ripped out of me. Mm-hmm. And wherever that demon is, he could fucking stay, know? And that's why I'm able to be, in places that are serving alcohol or have cocaine in front of me. And believe me, I'm not trying to test myself. If it's there, I don't go looking for it. If it's there, it's there. But it's just, I have no desire. Sorry, gotta do that. Yeah. And this is why I also, continue to, just tell my story in the hopes of, helping others. Yeah. And then so at the conclusion of me telling, my life story with regards to sobriety at that special meeting on Wednesdays, they said, hey, would you like to come back? I go, and I really wanted them to say that too, and offer it to me, because a few days earlier, on April 1st of that same year, this was April 13th, April 1st, I was in my house alone, and I just didn't feel right. And I was under a lot of stress. A friend of mine had just passed away. He OD'd. A cousin of mine, he didn't OD, but he did have a heart attack. And so, you start to get older, you start to have all these different feelings. I got myself so worked up that I called 911 because I thought I was dying. I even called my mother and said, I'm dying, and ambulance came, they checked me out. They're like, listen, we think you're fine. You didn't have a heart attack. You didn't have a stroke. He's like, we think your mind went a little crazy, but we're not doctors. So you should maybe go to the hospital because they could actually give you some tests and whatever. And so we did that. But I walked to the ambulance. I jumped up on the ambulance and, I got there. They did a bunch of tests and I was fine. Yeah. The doctor said, you pretty much probably had an anxiety attack. Like, my mind just got so ahead of myself. Yeah. Because I was, because up until then, like I said, I didn't attend one meeting. Yes, I was letting it out to the world, but I wasn't really sharing a lot of stress and problems I had with anyone, because I'm the first person to want to help you, but it's hard for me to ask for help sometimes. So when I got to do this meeting with these amazing people, I was now part of something that I can unleash, whether on a weekly basis or even call them up privately on a daily basis.
I understand.
Yeah, so it came in a point in my life that I really needed to be able to have a release. I mean, and I still attend to this day. Yeah,
it's really good to be in meetings or. Sometimes.
Yeah, especially with the group
or have good friends.
Yeah, and especially with the group that we have, a lot of us have the same occupation, we're DJs, producers. So, when we tell stories, we can relate, because I remember this was another thing that was when I went to one of my meetings in the late 90s, back home. I'm like, I just got back from Milan, and then I was on stage with 10,000 people, and they're like, oh, your life is so horrible. I was just out doing God knows what in some projects, still trying to get a dime bag, and your life is so terrible. So it's nice to be able to speak with people that you could that are relating with what you're relating with.
Yeah, cool. Let me check the time.
Yeah.
Ja, gewoon doorgaan. Yeah. Okay, top. Talking about drugs and things.
Let's talk about some drugs and things.
Hey, Ecstasy, you got what I need. What a big hit it was. And still is.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
No, I'm quite aware. It was monster hit. I mean,
13 weeks on #1 position in the box.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I still got these charts at home where, yes, I'm #1 for 13 weeks in a row, but the people I'm beating out, it's like Spice Girls, tell me what I want, what I really, really want. Celine Dion, Michael Jackson, just beating all these mega Fujis, like Rob G is reigning supreme for 13 weeks in a row in the box. Crazy.
But how did you came to it?
So, I was home in New Jersey, and I'm driving around, and there's this DJ on Hot 97, Funkmaster Flex. Funkmaster Flex. I love listening to his show, and he was cutting up some stuff, and he dropped Biz Markie's "Just a Friend." Yeah. Oh baby, you got what I need. You say he's just a friend. That's it. You say, and then I was just like, oh, Ecstasy, you got what I need. And then so this is where the original idea comes from. And I'm like, okay, I want to do something with this. So that night, I took some ecstasy, and then I just started writing the verse. I was like, okay, when I'm really high now too. But it's a good high of ecstasy. It was good ecstasy at that time. Kids don't do this at home, okay? And I wrote the verse. I was having a bad day, nothing's going my way, couldn't go, then and so on and so forth. So I write that, and I already know what the chorus is going to be. And I replay the piano. I also add a little Juno 2, the whatever you want to call it, the Hoover, the Mentasm. I program the 909 to be more of a hip hop beat, And and then there's a breakdown where
you really did it on the 909, or you programmed it in Cubase?
In Cubase, in Cubase 1. 2
megabyte.
1040 ST. You have to load up the floppy disk to the operating system. So I did the programming, in that, but with my real 909, through my MIDI chain. I didn't even have a MIDI patch bay, bro. Just to divert for a second. I went
out, delay.
I went out, just a little bit. I think I went into my Achaeus 3000, and then into my 909, and then into my Juno, and then back into my Atari.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like anything more than that, you would have
small
too much
chain.
Small chain. So it worked. So so I make the I guess what we consider the hardcore part with the epic breakdown, which is honestly it's just a bunch of Fs, and that's, but it worked, So here's the interesting thing about that. At the time, I just explained. I have my Achaeus 3000. I only had a Mackie 1604 at the time. The Juno, the 909 had a very small little effects unit called Alex something, and the only microphone I had was a Shure SM58, which is more of a live stage microphone. And this song has a lot of vocals. Yeah, and I don't have an ADAT. I don't have the sort of computer power we have today, where you couldn't sample all those vocals into the Achaeus 3000. No. So what I did was
you did live.
Yeah, I mixed everything down to the best of my ears, and then in one take, I did all that verse, all the chorus, all the ad libs,
on the DAT,
right to the final mix of the DAT.
Kick.
Insane. Which again, at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal because I had to do it. I just had to do it. Yeah. It wasn't until I think I was telling this story. I was at a dinner with Nosferatu and Bass T and Gizmo and Dark Raver and Erwin. Nosferatu was like, whoa, wait a second. You did all those vocals live straight to the DAT. I go, yeah. The whole table got up and went like, and I was like, now I'm like, you know what? It kind of is a big deal because when I'm recording now, like I'll do another take and another take. It was one take right to that.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
cool
crazy.
Story.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, man. Can you take us back to this Sensation Black moment where some guy comes up the stage and just wants to hit you, or he hits you?
I let him hit me.
Yeah.
And the reason was, if I hit him first, I would be the aggressor. So I was willing to take a punch because I figure once I get hit, everything after that is self-defense. Yeah. At least that's how it would work in America. Yeah, it is. So, but I want to tell a little backstory. Yeah. So that was July of 2006. So I think it was Christmas time, 2005. I was with my good friend Duncan Studerheim. And I was already doing this hybrid music of like hardcore techno and metal, combined. I was, collaborating with, the Billy from Biohazard, Shavo from System of a Down, Sid from Slipknot. And I'm making this really cool stuff, and I'm showing this to him, and he's like, yeah, it's cool, and that was one conversation. And then, later on, he brought up Sensation, both Sensations, and he was saying how, he loves White because it's so, the vibe there is just, so peaceful and happy, but there's still a lot of energy. He's like, of course it sells out, but he, I really respect Duncan because he always cared about the actual event, not just about the money. He really had passion about the event. So Sensation Black, he's like, yeah, well, that sells out, we get paid. Yeah. But he's like, but I really feel like the vibe is missing something these days. It's not as beautiful as White is. So then he says, how would you like to shock the crowd? And I go, well, what do you mean? He's like, how about you play, we'll fly the whole Rob G super band out here and we'll give you 20, 25 minutes. He's like, you could just shock the crowd. And I was like, sure. He's like, yeah, I don't want you to play any of your hits, just this stuff, and we'll just shock the crowd. So I'm down for a challenge and very punk rock attitude. I'm like, hell yeah. Yeah. So I agree. And now the months start to come by before we come to Sensation. So I thought about it more. I go, Duncan, listen, I still want to do this. I go, but I have a funny feeling like this might not go so great. So how about at the end, the band can walk off and then I could do the regular Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. So if it does go bad, the whole crowd could be like, oh, thank God, we know this, and they could go back to Hawking and having a good time. So it wasn't a surprise what we were going to do. I sent over the music that we would be playing. We'd be playing live, but I sent over to, the ID&T staff, what was going to be like so they could get the production, synced as best as they could. And I started to hear rumblings, through the grapevine, that there were some people at the time working there that weren't happy that this was going to happen. But that's, if the decision's made, just get behind it. It's not your job to, be negative about it. And then I remember the night before we performed, we were in, what's it called? Studio 80? Is that their, it was a club that ID&T owned. Could be, I don't know. Wait. I think it's called Studio 80. So me and my super band, and I say that because of the members I mentioned earlier are part of this band. We performed for the whole ID&T staff that was going to be working at the arena that night. And so we played, and it was cool. Again, I just keep bringing this up because it's not like I said I was going to play, Ride in New York and Ecstasy Got What I Need, and I decided to do this. It was always the plan to do this other type of music. Yeah. We get to the arena the next day. We sound check, and everything is fine. So now we're backstage. We're getting ready to go out, and they're like, "Oh, now you're up." And then when we get to the stage, all of our equipment was moved to the side. Our amplifiers, our drums, and if you know anything about doing live music, I know. The whole point of setting the drums, especially the drums alone are going to have a minimum of 16 different microphones placed a certain way. The guitar amp, you take the Shure SM57, it's pointed a certain way to get the right tone. But you didn't have a repetition up front, or? Well, no, we did. We had a sound check earlier that day, but if you're the main act, your stuff's not supposed to move, or if it is, it's supposed to be on wheels, so it could, or you have a little sound check right before you go on, if that's the way it's going to be. They had just moved everything to the side, and I'm like, so we were forced to set everything up on just praying that this is going to work. Yep. So we get on there and we start performing, and right away, there's people are like, what the fuck is this, But then there's some people in the crowd who definitely were like, okay, this is cool, this is different, but, I'm getting it. But, we stopped after every song because we're playing live, and I remember you would hear, the arena holds 40,000 people. It's like you heard 20,000 boos and 20,000 cheers at the same time. It was like, boo, it was like this mixed sound. But as the show went on, now people are throwing beer at us. They're throwing ice cream sickles at us or whatever. And, you know, I'm still, you know, I'm being professional and singing. And I did do a rendition of my song Get the Fuck Up and Sex, Drugs, and Gabber House, which we made a little bit of a band version. And, you know, and the lyrics are just sex, drugs, and Gabber House. And then it goes, get the fuck up, get the fuck up. I remember because we did that, there were some people that were writing online, which I think back then was MySpace, accusing us of cursing the crowd. Like, no one's cursing at the crowd. These are the lyrics to the song. No one, because we remained professional the whole time. So then we get to the last song. Well, the second to last song. This is now the point of the show, if you watch on YouTube, where the band starts to walk off. Now it's just supposed to be just me and Sid Wilson, the DJ from Slipknot. He starts to play like the little hip-hop beat, which is going to lead into me doing, or us doing Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, you know, the version that everyone loves here. Yeah. But at this moment is when this big guy gets on stage out of nowhere, and I see him, and he did not look like he was happy. And and a little bit of a footnote, the year before, a lot of those people on that stage, including myself, witnessed, well, we weren't there, but, you know, a friend of ours, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, you know, God rest his soul, had just gotten shot on stage in Cleveland. So, you know, that's still fresh in our heads that, like, artists can be attacked. Yeah. So I'm looking at this guy, and you can just tell when someone wants to hit you, you know. Yeah. So, I stand my ground. I don't walk towards him, and I definitely don't walk away. I'm not a pussy, you know. So I point at him, and here's a bit of a funny part. I was just about to do the whole Bruce Lee like this, but then I saw myself on the Jumbotron, and that's where my legal brain kicked in, because I also have a degree in criminal law and justice. I also, you know, could have went that route, but I'm a musician. So I was like, oh, if I do this, they can make the argument that I invited him on stage. Yeah. So I just kept it like this. Yeah. You know, there's a side of me does wish I did do this because it would have been cool, but but I kept it like that. I was like, listen, I know this guy has to swing first for me to do anything. So he walks, I let him swing first, just like the video shows. We want to go to the ground. I get up and I start kicking his head like a soccer ball, you know, and then my MC, he jumped and started hitting him. And yes, it was like a scene out of Goodfellas, you know, just like fucking this guy up. And then the only reason we stopped was my business manager at the time, you know, my friend Lou, you know, he was right there with us, not hitting the guy, but, you know, he realized, like, if we don't, he goes like this. He's like, guys, stop. You're going to kill him. So then we stopped and, you know, we, you know, walked off the stage. But, you know, there was no security there or no nothing. You know, if we didn't stop, we, you know, maybe something more serious could have happened. So I'm glad that guy did say stop. I'm not happy the guy came on stage and took a swing at me because that was unnecessary. You don't like the music. That's fine. Yeah. You could hate it. You could sit and protest, but you don't get violent. And I know we retaliated with violence, but you came at us first. You know, I'm going to protect myself. I'm not going to run away. I'm not, you know, I'm sorry. It's so no regrets. You know, I hope that person's healthy somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so also, because violence.
No, I'm not. No, listen, no violence. I'm all about love and peace, you know.
We have a lot of questions from people who follow our channel.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really. I told you before in the car, right? Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Kevin, how do you look back at the time you? Now, that's what you already told when you were still drinking.
Okay, I guess we covered that. Kevin, you got a big answer earlier in the show.
Yes, Danny. What was really sticking between your cloten? What was really sticking between your cloten? Cloten is this.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Oh,
my clota.
Well, here's the. Well, that's why I figure he's saying. But the reason I say this word, "Deutsche clota," it was because at the time, Repeat and Damon Wild, and now I've now told this story, like, you know, in recent years, because at first I wouldn't, because I didn't want to get them in trouble. And Lord Michael, they made a song called "Rotterdam is Full of Shit."
Oh yeah,
it was called War One. Yeah. And Repeat got really nervous about it. So when I did my Non-Schlentustaken record, that wasn't supposed to be a record that ever came out. That was me making a prank song just to play for repeat and be like, hey, dude, the guys from Rotterdam found out. So this is why I did this voice. So, you know, in the beginning of the Euromasters record, you hear him talk about, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and Dimitri and all this, And so I was calling out all the guys from Limelight instead of Lord Michael. I go, Lord Michel, und Limelight, und Vortex Records, und Money Benny, und Damon Wild, hier saw the Reteripi, das 𝐤𝐞𝐞. It just came out. Like, I didn't say also the Clote. I didn't know Clote. I didn't know Dutch. I had this record to kind of be a little bit of a blueprint, but those words just came out. And now, and actually, real quickly, because we did talk about Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. Yeah. That came out in 1996. The record that I just referred to, the Nonchalant Toestak, came out in 93. Mm-hmm. Between that, 93 and 96, I don't use the Rob G voice at all. No. So originally, when I was going to do Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, in my mind, I was going to do one of my more serious, like, I was having a bad day, nothing's going, and I listened, I'm like, this song is too silly to use my serious rap or singing voice. So I was like, well, what about this voice? But I was like, well, if I start singing this voice, maybe it's going to be weird. So that's why in the beginning of Ecstasy, I go, das 𝐤𝐞𝐞. Oh, wrong song. It was to give a little wink to.
This is really good. Yeah. Because this was also a question. Why are you using this?
Okay,
cool.
I can tell the future. I know the question's coming in, bro.
Just a comment from the enige echte, so the real one. That's how he has called himself.
Okay.
No comments.
Real one.
No comments. Love your work. Tonight is a song even my girlfriend likes. Bang bang.
Bong bong.
Bang bang.
Well, dankjewel. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias, wherever you're from. Dankeschön. Who knows? But tonight. Yeah, well, good. And Koda will like that too. And tell your girl to listen to some more Rabji.
Short answers for this question.
Okay.
Sabrina, how did you came to such a crazy and colorful haircut?
You know what? The year was 2016.
Yeah.
I had just cut off my really long hair, like more like a heavy metal guy.
Machi. Machi is long hair.
Machi, okay, some machi. But before I cut it all off, I cut it off to about here, and so it's still a little long on top. And I bleached it and put a little purple in it, which I used to do in the 90s as well. That wasn't nothing new to me, but I was like, you know what? I never did a mohawk. Like, there was a time in the early 90s where I shaved. I guess I had more like what a lot of the, some of the Gabarinas have today. They shave up here and they have the little thing in the back. Yeah. I did that, like, a little bit. Not that I was trying to be a Gabarino, but I never did like what I have right now, this thing. So I was like, let me do this. And I did it. I put some colors in it. Purple's my favorite color, although I do change it from time to time. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of stuck. And to be honest with you, if I could be quite frank, it kind of works with my hairline now, too. It works out perfect.
Okay. Peter, big respect to Rob. Do you ever look back at how your life was during using drugs and alcohol? Well, you already told. But do you ever look back?
I do look back. Yeah. Sometimes I do. Like, sometimes when I'm just in the car or in the hotel or just anywhere, even right now.
Yeah, and also when I picked you up.
I'm like... I'm just being sober. Yeah. Like, wow, this could have been like, You
come into cities and you see the beauties of the city.
Yeah, I see the beautiful city. I know what's going on. I know where we're going. Yeah. I'll remember this place once we leave, because there's like in the last 13 years, like I was telling you when you picked me up, like, it's like I've been re-experiencing all these beautiful things that just kind of happened, and there was such a blur, when I was using. So, and then sometimes I just reflect about something as simple as my mother calling me, and I'm able to pick up the phone, and maybe she just wants to say hello, or maybe she needs a hand with something, and I'm there for her instead of like the phone just ringing and her calling and thinking I'm dead. So I have a lot of reflection from time to time. Thanks, brother.
Floortje, how you use headphones with your hair? Love how he does this.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's really not that difficult. And this is because the mohawk does not go all the way back. So I just have the headphones wrapped like around here. Yeah, even when I sleep, like it doesn't really mess up because I'm on the pillow, and even if I go like this, it's still not hitting. It does like this. Like I'll be on a long flight, and there's people who always be looking at my haircut, and then you maybe it's a long flight, so you knock out a little and you sleep, and when we arrive, people are like, "Wow, the mohawk made it," But yeah, it's because I don't have it going all the way back; it's only on top, so the headphones, go.
You can also buy a mono one.
Yeah, I could, but I don't know. I like having them both on. I still like having that,
Jessley is my nephew.
Okay,
and yesterday we went to a party, and I was preparing the interview, and I said to him, "Do you have a question for Rob?" And he said, "Follow up on Riot in New York."
Wouldn't be a bad idea,
Okay.
Yeah, not a bad idea at all. Maybe that's something we could get involved with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Renee, you still play guitar sometimes?
I was never really a great guitarist to begin with. I did have a couple guitars, but bass was the thing that you mess with. So here's the thing with that. Horrible guitar player and really not a great bass player either. However, with that being said, I can make up some really good riffs. So I'm really good with this part of it of whether I'll play it, on a keyboard or, just with my mouth go dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then, but I usually will have my dear friend Scott, who's in a group called the Take. He was in Biohazard for a little while, and now he's in the Take. We share a studio together. I'll come up with the riff. He'll play the riff, because he's very good at hearing it. So whatever my mouth does, he'll do it because he actually knows how to play guitar, and I have no shame in saying that. I can write it, but I'm not the best player.
Okay, cool.
There was a time where I wanted to sing and play, and I did do it, but I just wasn't that strong at that. So now it's just about the vocals, and But I love writing music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How much time do we have still? You have to check out because otherwise I have another question. Otherwise we
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
14.
14. Okay, cool. Maybe about the Love Parade. We were sitting in the car just before, and you told me a little bit of story, and I said this is also nice for the interview.
Yeah, so it was Love Parade 1996. This is the year Ecstasy, You Got What I Need came out.
Yeah.
𝐸&T had their own float there. I mean, it was probably called the Thunderdome float. I was there, the Mouth of Madness, 3 Steps Ahead, rest in peace, people. And I was there, and there's 1 million people here, in the whole parade city as a whole. So now as the floats are moving, there's a lot of people around, but there's not 1 million around your whole thing. No. However, when it gets to its final place, all the floats make a circle.
Yeah, the große Stern, with the tower. And
exactly. So then you really are, for the far as the eyes can see, there's millions and, not millions and millions, million people. And so I got to perform, and just to see all these people, and even though you're just on a float, it's just amazing. And just to even just go into another country and even though it was the Netherlands is where yes, there's the gold record, #1 on the box, but people knew it in Germany, people knew it in France, people knew everywhere. But there at Love Parade, I mean, you still got people, singing at the top of their lungs as they do to this day. I mean, I play that song pretty much in every one of my sets, and I always, Ecstasy, you what? Crowd, you got what I need. It's amazing that song's gonna be 30 years old next year.
Wow,
30 years, and it's amazing to create something that people still love to this day. And I know you know this feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, man. Yesterday I told also the people I was playing at Outlands, and I grabbed the microphone. I said before I played Wonderful Days, the remix of Theo Outsiders. I said
it's very cool, that thing.
It's good, huh?
Yeah.
I said to the people, if you told me 30 years before that I was still playing as a DJ right now, and that was this was the 6th remix of Wonderful Days, well, I said you were crazy. But still doing this.
Yeah, that was really cool what Chem did. Outsiders. I guess it was what about a year ago, there was My Tears Gone Cold and Wide, did the same with the different beeps, the Dido thing, and then
it
was brilliant.
WW,
just like you were inspired by the drum machine, again, that was, but to do with Wonderful Days, it was amazing. And I must say, and you must know, and you do know this because we've known each other for so long, bro, in the 90s, I wouldn't be caught dead playing that fucking song.
Yeah.
No, I mean, dude, I had nothing against what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
I respected you guys, and you guys were my homies, but like, and I had no desire to be anything about anything happy. I didn't want no wonderful days. I didn't want to love you more or like, you know, but dude, maybe, well, back to now we're going full circle. These are some guilty pleasures that have now become something I do play in my set. Dude, I remember even at Ghost Town, it was 2 years ago, I played Wonderful Days, the Rotterdam mix. And Bass D's like, really? Rob G is playing. And there I am. I found a love. And so, you know, you guys did some amazing work, you know, as did Paul, as did the Party Animals. Yeah. So it's like I got to rediscover these songs, you know, for the first time playing them because I never played them in the 90s,
No.
And it's not me jumping on some bandwagon. It's just, it's such good music, you know, that I just didn't get it back then. I was too busy. I'm fucking hard and guitars. And,
I am industrial strength.
Yeah, it's industrial strength. Like, you know, so like I wanted no part of that. But no, they're amazing songs. And I even recently asked you for the Outsiders thing. Yeah, you
asked me.
Yeah, dude, it's great. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. So I'm glad that my mind has been expanded. You know.
Yeah, great, man.
Yeah. Much respect, brother.
Yeah, but also to you, man.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Always been in my heart, and especially the last times that we met, also on the meetings and everything,
the retreats and everything.
Yeah, it's different. Normally, when we meet each other at parties, and everything goes so fast. Yeah, that's what I say to all the DJs I interview. Normally everything goes so fast, but it's never like a quality time moment.
No.
And that's what we have when we have meetings or when we have a podcast. Or
like this is great.
Yeah.
Even just the second you picked me up at the train station, just the conversation we had in the car. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, it's awesome, brother.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother.
Have we forgotten about everything? Anything? Do you want to mention something or?
No, I mean, when do you think you will publish this?
I think within 8 weeks.
Yeah, sometime.
Yeah, from now. And now it is 24 June.
Yeah, so so I guess like the middle of August or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the time you've seen this, and hopefully you saw me at DEF CON and you too.
Played before me.
Yeah, I played before. I'm gonna warm them up for you, baby. Yeah, you know it, bro. And some Dominators and Sawapi festivals and all sorts of stuff. But just be on the lookout for some new music. I've been feeling so creative lately, and I'm rocking this, rocking that, and I'm just loving life, man. I'm just really loving life. I'm happy where I am.
Good to see you happy, man.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah. And next time you see me, we'll be down some kilos. I promise.
Good.
Yeah, I make a promise to you people. Yes. But most of all, a promise to myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, brother. Cool, man.